The
Your
Velcro
resistance
Armada
is
emerged
futile.
from hyperspace
Engage
like
all
a swarm
fleets.
of
Fire
metallic
at will.
locusts, their thousand warships blotting out the stars above Earth's orbit. Admiral Marcus Hayes stood on the bridge of the UNSC Retribution, watching the enemy fleet arrange itself into a perfect crescent formation, a display of overwhelming force designed to break human morale before the first shot was fired. "They're hailing us, sir," Lieutenant Rebecca Torres reported from the communications station, her voice steady despite the fear etched on her young face. "Put them through," Hayes ordered, straightening his uniform. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing the insectoid form of War Master Krellax, his mandibles clicking in what the translation software interpreted as amusement. "Primitive mammals," the Velcran commander began, his four compound eyes gleaming with contempt. "Your species has violated the Galactic Concordat by expanding beyond your designated containment zone. You will surrender your military assets, submit to sterilization protocols, and accept indentured servitude to the Velcran Empire. You have one of your Earth hours to comply. Resistance will result in the complete eradication of your homeworld." Hayes allowed himself a thin smile. "War Master, there's something you should know about humans. We don't kneel. Not to tyrants, not to empires, and certainly not to bugs." Krellax's mandibles spread wide in rage. "You dare." Hayes cut the transmission and turned to his weapons officer. "Commander James Rollins, activate Project Prometheus." Across Earth's solar system, ancient asteroid mining facilities suddenly came alive. What the Velcrans had dismissed as civilian infrastructure revealed its true purpose as massive railgun batteries emerged from camouflaged positions. The asteroid belt itself had been transformed into a fortress, each rock a weapon platform disguised as simple ore extraction operations. On Mars, Colonel Diana Foster watched her screens as the red planet's terraforming domes retracted, exposing atmospheric processors that had been retrofitted into massive particle beam cannons. Humanity had learned from history. After first contact with hostile species had nearly destroyed the colony on Proxima Centauri 5 years ago, Earth's engineers had spent every waking moment preparing for this exact scenario. "All stations report ready," Foster transmitted to Hayes. "Mars batteries are hot. They wanted to see human ingenuity. Let's give them a demonstration they'll never forget." The Velcran fleet advanced with the confidence of predators who had conquered 17 star systems. Their shields shimmered with energy as they moved into bombardment range, preparing to reduce Earth's cities to ash. They never saw the first salvo coming. Railgun projectiles, accelerated to a significant fraction of light speed, tore through the Velcran formation like bullets through paper. The kinetic energy alone was devastating, when a 2-ton tungsten rod traveling at 0.4 hit a Velcran battlecruiser, the impact released energy equivalent to a small nuclear weapon. Shields that had withstood plasma fire from a dozen alien species were simply overwhelmed by the raw physics of mass and velocity. 30 Velcran ships vanished in brilliant flashes before Krellax even realized they were under attack. "Impossible," the War Master shrieked, watching his tactical display dissolve into chaos. "How did they hide such weapons? Our sensors detected nothing." His tactical officer, a younger Velcran named Trell9, frantically analyzed the incoming data. "Commander, the projectiles contain no power signatures, they're purely kinetic. Our sensors were calibrated to detect energy weapons and propulsion systems. These are just rocks. Incredibly fast rocks." Hayes watched with grim satisfaction as the Velcran fleet attempted to regroup. "They're adapting. Bringing up secondary shields, dispersing formation. Torres, signal the Roosevelt and the Eisenhower. Time for Phase 2. From Earth's moon, massive magnetic accelerators launched thousands of autonomous combat drones, small, cheap, and expendable. Each drone carried a fusion warhead and basic AI programming with one directive: find a Velcran ship and detonate. The Velcrans, accustomed to fighting opponents who valued technological superiority over pragmatic brutality, found themselves swarmed by an enemy that embraced asymmetric warfare. Their point defense systems, designed to intercept sophisticated missiles, struggled against the sheer number of simple, fast-moving threats. Captain Robert Sullivan commanded the drone operations from Luna Base, a cigarette dangling from his lips despite the strict no-smoking policy. "That's the thing about humans, you insectoid bastards," he muttered as another Velcrin destroyer exploded. "We've been killing each other for 10,000 years. We wrote the book on creative violence." Krelax realized too late that he had made a fundamental miscalculation. The Velcrans had assumed that a species barely a century into space travel would fight like the other primitive races they'd subjugated, using imported technology, mimicking galactic standard tactics, fighting a war of honor and tradition. Humans fought to win. As Mars's particle beams carved through his flagship's armor, as Earth's orbital platforms launched wave after wave of missiles, as even civilian transports rammed his damaged vessels in suicide attacks, Krelax understood the terrible truth. Humans didn't see war as a test of strength or honor. They saw it as mathematics, a problem to be solved through any means necessary. "Retreat!" Krelax ordered, his pride shattered along with half his armada. "All ships, emergency jump to." The transmission cut off as Commander Rollins's targeting solution proved perfect. The Velcrin flagship's reactor went critical, its explosion consuming 20 nearby vessels. Of the 1,000 ships that had arrived to subjugate Earth, fewer than 200 limped away into hyperspace, their hulls scarred and their crews traumatized. The battle had lasted 3 hours. The Velcrin Empire would never recover from the loss. Admiral Hayes surveyed the debris field that now orbited Earth, a graveyard of alien arrogance and human determination. Lieutenant Torres approached with a data pad, her hands still trembling from the adrenaline. "Sir, we're receiving transmissions from across the galaxy." Every species that heard the Velcrin's ultimatum monitored the battle. They're calling us the shield breakers. The species that makes weapons from anything." Hayes nodded slowly, knowing that humanity had just announced itself to the galaxy in the most violent way possible. They had wanted Earth to kneel, to accept subjugation as the natural order. Instead, they had awakened something far more dangerous than they could have imagined, a species that had climbed to the top of their own world's food chain not through strength or speed, but through relentless innovation and the willingness to use any tool, any tactic, any sacrifice to survive. "Send a message to the Galactic Concordat," Hayes said quietly. "Tell them Earth is open to diplomatic relations. But make it clear, we will never kneel. Not now. Not ever." As the message transmitted across the stars, humanity stood bloodied but unbroken, having earned through fire and fury what no diplomatic overture could have achieved, the galaxy's respect, and its fear.